Good morning, everyone. If we could please, let's stand and do the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, you do roll call, please.
Keisha Johnner,
Here.
Jim Mueller, absent today. Steve McCombs.
Here,
Entertain a motion for today's agenda.
move to approve today's agenda.
Support.
McCombs,
Aye.
Johnner,
Aye. Communications? Jake?
none from us.
Seeing none, we'll move on. Public comments. This is the portion of the agenda which we can hear from the public on items that are not below on our agenda. These could become future topics possibly, and for future agendas. Is there any public comments?
I just wanted to say, well, I think we had another successful Knoxville Nationals. I want to thank you guys for use for the parking again. Then the sheriff's department, I know it puts a long strain on them, but those guys did an excellent job. Had a lot of people in town all week and they did a great job. And then unfortunately, we had to rely on emergency management a lot on Saturday. The last day we had some expected weather. Luckily, I don't know if it was Emily or who made it that we didn't have any of it. But I just want to thank everybody from the county to, make the event successful.
Thank you, Jason. Appreciate that. That's Jason Relief from Marion County Fairgrounds, Knoxville Raceway. So thank you.
Again, I'd like to thank the Fair Board and you, Jason, for dealing with all you had to out there and taking care of everything. Thank you.
No problem.
Any other public comments? Anything online? No. Seeing none, entertain a motion for consent agenda.
I move to approve today's consent agenda.
I'll support.
Johnner,
Aye.
McCombs.
Aye.
On to business. Item number 1 is Habitat for Humanity of Marion County. Habitat is with us this morning. We have a few slides and I'm going to ask Amy to come to the podium. Good morning, Amy. Good morning. Thank you for coming and being with us today. And would you like to go over the slides a little bit first, or would you want to?
Yeah,
Okay.
and then if you just want to ask something.
Okay, that's good. All right.
Cool. So I'm here today, I'm Amy Meyer, I'm the Director of Habitat for Humanity in Marion County. I'm here to talk about critical home repair, but I do think I'd be remiss if I didn't mention all the new homes that we've been bringing to Marion County. So if you want to go to the next slide, we had got a $1.5 million ARPA grant to build 6 homes in the last 2 years. And I think what was most exciting about it is that we were able to go outside of the cities that we typically build in. So in 2024, we built in Knoxville, Pleasantville, and Bussy, and in 2025 we built in Knoxville, Bussy, and Melcher, Dallas. So that's 25 people who are today living in brand new homes in Marion County at a very affordable rate. So we're really happy about that. So we can keep putting new homes into the market, but sometimes it's even more cost effective to repair the homes that already exist. And so that's why we have a critical home repair program. Just some numbers on kind of why home repair is needed. The average cost to maintain a single family home is around $10,000. For our low income neighbors, obviously that's not something that they can achieve. Our housing stock in Marion County is aging, as most is. And so, yeah, we're at about 60% built below 1979. So those are the houses that are going to start to really need some of those bigger repairs. That can be pretty costly. And just to remind you that 1 in 3 Marion County households make below $50,000 a year. So for those people that are kind of living paycheck to paycheck, to think of their saving $10,000 to put into their home is not very reasonable. We're also seeing a huge increase in not just the cost of homeowners insurance, but what homeowner insurance companies are expecting our homeowners to do. So we have had several projects that we have done because the homeowner insurance company calls and says, okay, you need new siding, you have 90 days. And so for someone making a $1,200 a month Social Security payment, and that's their only income, that is not really feasible for them to do in 90 days. So we've done several of those projects that were actually led by an insurance company saying you have to replace the roof in 90 days or the siding or things like that. How they know that, how they, how that happens, I have no idea. But that is something that we're seeing, and so we're happy to have this program to be able to serve that. So these are our 2024 numbers. We did 27 projects and spent $300,000. It served about 60 people, but I really want to highlight on the slide just who we serve. Almost 60% of them were households with an elderly member, so above 62 years old. 45%, so almost half of the families we serve have people with a disability. And then this program does serve people all the way up to 80% of area median income. So for a family of one or two, that can be up to $80,000 a year. But that average income there, that $33,000, that shows you that who it's actually serving is way below that 80% AMI threshold. So about half of who we serve in this program are below 30% of AMI. So those that they would qualify as very low income. So we're happy that those are the applications that continue to come in, are the people who need it the most. And so we will obviously continue to target those. But some of the programs we've done, roofs, HVACs. The standard for critical home repair is it something that would prevent you from living safely in your home? And so we do see that maybe a $1,000 roof repair could turn into a $10,000 drywall subfloor replacement. So we're really trying to get at problems before they become bigger. These are our 2025 project locations. So again, it is throughout the county. The word is out in Melcher, the word is out in Harvey. So we do see like neighbors be like, hey, that person got new siding, how did they get that? And then they apply as well. So we're happy that we got the word out. Those green dots are completed projects. So we completed 22 so far. I believe 5 of those 22 are outside the city limits of Knoxville, Pella, or Pleasantville, or Melcher Dallas. And then we have 10 in progress. That means we've done a site visit, we have a scope of work, but we just haven't completed the project yet. And then 9 are applications, and that really shows you that this program didn't used to have a wait list. This program used to be if someone applied and they qualified, we'd be able to do the project. Now we have to be a lot more discerning because we get so many applications with what we do, how much we do, and we just have to be more strategic with that. So we do have that wait list of people who are waiting. We do obviously prioritize more emergent needs. If your water heater goes out, we can usually get a plumber there within a day. Furnace in the winter, things like that. We do work on emergency levels, but we do try to be consistent with our policies and programs, and they have to fill out the application, make sure they have everything they need and that kind of thing. I thought some pictures would go far. So this is a branch that fell on a house. They did have homeowners insurance, but the homeowner insurance company said that because the tree was dead, it was their fault, and so they did not pay for this at all. So that is it finished. It did eventually get painted, but that gives you an idea of what it looks like. This is a project we just finished a few months ago in it's by like Lacona. And so obviously you can see there's no siding. It's actually just like cardboard nailed to the outside of the house. And then there's that gray water that's just dumping into the pool in your yard. And so we were able to do a new septic tank as well as replace all the siding. As it was happening, I remember thinking, man, this is going to be a really good before and after pic. And sure enough, it is. So that was really great. Think of his heating costs, with siding. We're very pro siding for that. So this is a good example. This is just outside Knoxville. A good example too of how flexible our funding is from our local housing trust fund. So this is a woman's driveway. She is elderly and disabled. It goes over a creek. It collapsed. She kind of would have to park her car on one side of it and then walk, like say with her groceries to the other side. She had fallen a few times when it got icy. And so we reached out to our housing trust fund and said, hey, does this qualify? Because it's not, we think of home repairs as repairs on a home. But they found that this would prevent you from living safely. You can't access your house, you're not going to live there safely. So we were able to put in a culvert and then repack the driveway on top of it. And so, yeah, next slide. So that's kind of it in progress. And then that final picture is now that person will be able to drive across their driveway. The next one is an elderly gentleman. He had Parkinson's. He said he had some questions about his AC, and we asked him a follow-up question, and he said, well, I don't know, I can't get to it. And we're like, what do you mean you can't get to it? He's like, well, it's on the roof. And so for someone who, is elderly disabled, I mean, for anyone, it would be unsafe to go up there. And so you can see kind of the rotten wood there, and the AC unit is on top. So we were able to build a little room for it down below. That door is kind of, so you can see it's right below there, as well as kind of rebuild that shed. This picture is just to highlight accessibility issues, which we do work on a lot. We even get phone calls from a hospital saying, I'm in the hospital, I'm now in a wheelchair, how can I get into my house? We had a client who hadn't left their house in more than a year because he had a wife that took care of him, but he was not able to get out of the house until we built a ramp. So we do a lot of ramps, we do a lot of bathroom improvements to make it easier for people to access. Speaking of bathrooms, this is a video, but I just used some still shots. So this is I believe it was in Knoxville, but the picture I want to highlight is just the one on the right, that black there. That is a couple feet fall into his crawl space. This person was also elderly and disabled, and he kind of, I mean, not just flooring gone, but subfloor gone to the point where he just tried to kind of cover it with some wood so that he could access the toilet. That was the only toilet in the house. And so, yeah, it was obviously very dangerous for him to try to be doing that. And yeah, you can do a lot. You can make a lot of big changes in a bathroom. Yeah, we're really happy to be able to do a lot of bathroom works. We have kids who haven't been able to shower. We were reached out to by Knoxville schools this winter of a kid living in a house with no heat. We were able to do a furnace there. So yeah, I could just tell you a million stories about the program, the projects that we've done. So money wise, we are very lucky to have a partnership with the Central Iowa Housing Trust Fund. They upped our funding this year to $190,000. Last year they gave us $150,000. We are required to get about 28% local match. We did get $30,000 match from the city of Knoxville, 15 from the city of Pleasantville. We'll have to come up with another 8,000. But that gives us our 2025 spending at $243,000. I do also want to just briefly touch on the homeowners assistance fund. So this was a grant that Supervisor Johnner encouraged us to apply for. So we were the Marion County representative of this grant. The state had COVID money it still needed to spend. And so if someone had a financial COVID hardship, we could help them through this program. In 2024, we did 3 projects totaling $85,000. It was up to $35,000 a project. So that siding and septic picture I showed, that was through this program. So a huge thing. That is, we don't spend 35, we try to not spend more than 20. So that was huge. They reached out in 2025 and said, we're not making this public, but we do have a little bit more money. If you have people who have COVID financial difficulties, reach out to them, see if they want to apply for this. We did, we found 3 more. It is kind of funny when you ask someone, did you have any COVID hardships? And they say yes, and you're like, oh, that's great. And you're like, okay, it's not great if you had a hardship, but it will get you $35,000 of home repairs. So I just want to say thank you for that. That was great. That I wish that the state continued a program like that. It didn't have to be that high, but it was really helpful. So those are dollars that we didn't have to spend our local housing trust fund money on. Those are dollars that we were able to just kind of do these separate projects for. So I wanted to highlight that. So for to date in 2025, on our completed projects, we've spent about $151,000. We've designated another 68. So those are those kind of in progress projects that we do have dollars set aside for to complete. That gives us only $24,000 left to spend in 2025. Last year around this time, we started a fundraising campaign to make sure that we had enough money to get us through the winter. Again, the winter is the worst time in that we don't want to ever say to someone whose furnace went out, like, well, call us back in February when our funding re-ups. And so we were able to do that and have money where we could do a lot of those projects. But we're really grateful that the Central Iowa Housing Trust Fund said, hey, we have this extra $50,000 that isn't going to be used in another grant they allocated. So does anyone want to apply for it? So we are going to apply for the full $50,000, not to be greedy, but just to let them know, like, hey, we could spend this money very easily by the end of the year. And I think that's what they're looking for. And so in order to do that, we need that 28% match. And that's what I'm asking for today, for $10,000 to be used towards the match for that new part of that fund.
Thank you, Amy. I appreciate that. And thank you for everything that you've done for the citizens of Marion County. I mean, really, it has been very impactful. I know before us today, you know, is the ask, and I know that you and I had chatted a little bit when going for this grant. I just need to make sure that we have what is called LMI dollars, low and moderate income dollars. It is a fund. We do approximately have $55,000 in that account. And I just want to make sure that this would qualify in your eyes. When I talked to Lucas this past week, there is a code section that we have to follow in regarding that. And you know, that it would be that low and moderate income families and that you'll be monitoring that.
Yes, 100%. So they even ask for threshold beyond low and moderate income. They want more numbers in the lower income, that below 30%, below 50%. And we hit those numbers every time. So it would not be an issue at all that anyone would be anywhere near over 80% AMI, which is the definition of low and moderate income. So,
And
yeah.
you're asking today for 10,000, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay. And then I know your match is you're seeking 13.9. Are you gonna be able, I mean, are you hopeful to be able to find the other 3,900?
yeah, so we put in a request to the city of Melcher. Last year, they did give us $8,500 for this program. And then they haven't this year yet, so we reached out to them. Worst case scenario, it just comes out of our operating fund, which is not a big deal at all.
No, I appreciate that. I have no issues with this. I guess I wanna let Steve, the only thing I would say is that, you know, with doing this, if we could ever have another update, that would be
Sure, I'd
great,
love
you know, to do that. It's always nice when you see what the funds do and how they help, so. Steve,
I have no issue. I mean, to me, that was the intent of these LMI funds.
Totally.
Was to assist low and moderate income housing in Marion County. I think it's money well spent, in my opinion.
Thank you. And I should note, the city of Knoxville does use their LMI funds for it. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Those funds for it.
I mean, my understanding of a lot of the work that takes place on these projects is volunteer work. Other than what cannot be volunteer.
Yeah, so critical home repair, it's pretty much not volunteer work. So usually they're contractors that we're hiring to do. On our new homes, we do have volunteers. We do have like the Knoxville High School does their building trades program to build one. And then like this year, we're building 2 in Knoxville. 1 will be building trades. 1 will be a combination of professional contractors and volunteer teams. But yeah, we would love to use it for CHR, but it's usually, you know, electrician, plumbers, that kind of thing.
do you put those for bid then, or do you have contract?
We do have contractors that we work with, but if it's a larger project, we will bid it out, but we are very lucky to have people who prioritize us, because a lot of times these people, it's not just a matter of money, it's a matter of getting a contractor to call them back. Or we've had ones that have worked with shadier people who have scammed them, and so it's not just the money part, it's the like, we have these reliable people who will come to your house, who will put us on the top of their list, right? A plumber, they don't have to come to your house that day, they have enough work to keep them busy, so we have some great partners who will come that day.
That's good.
It is good, it's made a huge difference.
No, I have no issue with it.
All right. There's no further questions. Do you have anything? Steve, I think what we're gonna need is, we're gonna need a motion to approve $10,000 from the LMI funds to go to Habitat for Humanity for the matching grant fund for Central Iowa Housing Trust.
I will make that motion just so I don't have to repeat it all again.
I'll support.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amy, I appreciate it.
Johnner,
Aye.
McCombs.
Aye.
On to item number 2, this is ordinance 2025-7. This is approved the second reading proposed Marion County ordinance and zoning and map amendment to rezone the parcel located at 645 190th Avenue.
Okay, so as the public hearing, at previous meeting, this is the area 645 190th. The proposal is to rezone from A1 to M1 light industrial restricted to allow for mini storage, and then also to allow for the one dwelling that's considered night watchman dwelling as allowed in the M1 light industrial zone.
This ordinance was put before us, obviously, last meeting. I have not heard anything regarding this. Missy, have you had any?
We have not, so this actually has had already, well, 3 public hearings, so they, of course, have to do the variance with board adjustments prior to starting rezoning. And we had the rezoning process, with the zoning commission and as well as the supervisor, so there's been 3, public meetings, and there's been no input from any of the neighboring property owners, and then, of course, pending the approval of the rezoning, the site plan would come forward through the zoning commission.
Steve, do you have any questions regarding this ordinance?
Pretty much discussed at last meeting.
So too. Entertain a motion for ordinance 2025-7. This would be approving the second reading.
I'll move we approve ordinance 2025-7, move the second reading.
Support, sorry.
Okay.
Sometimes I get in my own zone and forget.
McCombs,
Aye.
Johnner,
Aye. Item number 3 is ordinance 2025-7. This would be the waiving the third reading and authorizing final approval, including publication and zoning map ordinance. Steve?
I make a motion, we, excuse me, approve ordinance 2025-7, waiving the third reading, approve the final approval.
And I'll support.
Johnner.
Aye.
McCombs,
Aye.
Thank you, everyone on that. Item number 4, resolution 2025-83. This is Weiler's site plan. Let's see.
So I have given you all in your packet, the checklist comes directly from the zoning ordinance as well as, the comments. So to go over, we have lots 12, 13, and 14 in Marion subdivision. These do lie on the south side of Weiler Drive, so they lay under county jurisdiction. It's currently zoned M1 light industrial, which would allow for the proposed use. So the Marion County Comp Plan also identifies this to be general industrial. And the defined setbacks are 50 feet front yard, 10 feet sides adjacent to the other light industrial, 40 feet from the rear. This is served obviously by I believe it's a shared road, county, city road, Weiler Drive. Weiler will be working with the Marion County Road Department as far as the access locations. They are proposing that the site would, their parking would be paved as well as the, drive into it. Let's see, so this has been, presented to the city of Knoxville for review as well as a courtesy, because as we know, they're looking into city services, so at some point there will be a future annexation into the city of Knoxville. Most of when we look at the city of Knoxville versus the county, everything aligns fairly well. The one thing Marion County does not have building codes, and we don't have building inspections. We will require permanent foundation on all principal buildings. The stormwater calculations designed by Garden Associates were included in the packet. And the NPDS permit the publication was published on July 25th. So now we have a 75 parking spots, which exceeds the requirements of the Marion County ordinance. The building is 69,088 square feet, and then there's roughly 70,000 of parking, paid parking. So we did, at the zoning commission meeting, there was a public hearing which was required with one of the neighboring property owners. So it was discussed as far as the biggest concern was the runoff onto the farm field behind them. So we had quite a discussion as far as looking at the elevations and the design of the stormwater detention, which obviously, as you can see, anybody familiar with Weiler Drive, it looks just like it does on the north side of Weiler Drive, that's what the ditch in front, they've got their detention there. As Megan indicated, when we were discussing the zoning commission meeting, these also, there are some piping that would also then, I believe for overflow, and don't quote me on this, goes to actually the retention that lays out in front of Weiler. So they exceeded, the requirements to make sure that runoff is gonna be, and they've done a great job with the current development that, address and make sure that, the runoff and the impervious surfaces are being dealt with. We only had discussion with one property owner after, public notice sent, so.
Your zoning commission was unanimous?
Yep, zoning commission had approved it for to nothing, yeah. One member absent.
Reviewing it, I have no issues. Appreciate again, the continued growth that Weiler is looking at. Missy, I wanna commend you for, I know this was rather prompt and, a little faster than, some of the things in the past, but I appreciate your willingness to work with Weiler and, the city of Knoxville and keeping everybody in the loop. Steve, do you have any questions regarding this?
No, I have no questions, and I too am very happy to see water growing and, you know, providing those opportunities for employment in Marion County.
We're very grateful, very blessed. With that, Steve, there's no further questions. Entertain a motion for resolution 2025-83.
Move we approve resolution 2025-83.
I'll second.
Johnner.
Aye.
McCombs.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Steve.
Nancy.
Item number 5 is resolution 2025-82. This is the FY26 Living Roadway Trust Fund grant agreement. Hi, Tyler. This looks like this is for Turbo Turf Hydro Seeder.
Yes, so this would be, this is our second year applying for the grant. Last year, there was a shortage of funds for Living Roadway Trust Fund, and many of the equipment grants were not awarded to various city and county entities, so we reapplied this in this current fiscal year for the same hydro seeder to replace our current truck mounted unit. And this is a trailer mounted unit, slightly larger tank, so we would be able to seed more per load, more acres per load, or acreage per load. And then ultimately, we would get rid of one truck chassis as part of the process, reducing our maintenance for the future. So we have the appropriate equipment to pull this trailer as we went to some trailer mounted units for a variety of other things as well, in order to not have as many trucks to maintain. So the grant was awarded for $30,000, which was our request, which is the match for this type of equipment. Total cost of a little over about $15,000 with the IRBM program budget, which comes from Fund 11, funding the remaining portion, which was budgeted for last year and again this current fiscal year.
Tyler, in regards to this grant, I mean, you feel if we don't receive it, or how are you proceeding? Are you gonna continue, or are you just putting?
We've received the grant.
Oh, you
Yes,
received it?
this is the grant.
Oh, approval of the grant agreement.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, misunderstood. I
Yeah,
thought
sorry.
we were,
We,
uh,
yes, we reapplied and we have.
congratulations. I see it right here. Sorry, Greta.
Yeah. So this is the grant agreement. We will be proceeding with this agreement and the purchase of sooner than later, as there's a 6 to 8 month lead time on this. So we'll want to get that moving fairly quickly here to get everything completed in the fiscal year.
Well, I guess since we've already been awarded, and I appreciate that, for that clarity, I see no issues with this. Steve?
Nope, I have no problem. I make a motion we approve resolution 2025-82.
Support. Thank you, Tyler.
McCombs.
Aye.
Johnner.
Item number 6 is resolution 2025-84. This is directing the auditor to push notice of hearing on the adoption of proposed code of ordinance of Marion County, Iowa. Jake.
Yeah, I'll take this one. So Marion County Board of Supervisors has our ordinance book, which is basically your local rules and regulations. It's required by Code of Iowa to have someone go through that every 5 years, basically recodifying it or making sure that it is current, up to date to Iowa code. As we know, there've been a lot of changes over the years, things move fast in the legislature anymore. So Marion County, the county attorney's office has been working with Iowa codification, Simmering and Corey for Iowa codification on this project for quite some time. Been a lot of communications back and forth with different departments on changes or things that are needed, and mostly just updates or eliminating Missy. Was working with some of her chapters, and actually due to the length of this project, we've actually had some ordinances updated individually in between the midst, but we're finally to the finished product of the recodification. And we need to go through the normal ordinance process and have a public hearing of our overall changes, so it's not just like chapter 55 or something like that. This will be the entire recodification process.
Okay.
Book is available with the changes with all the updated code references. And I think there's always more to come. It's a living, breathing document. So there's always things in the works. But following process as described by Iowa codification, we're requesting you folks setting a hearing date so we can keep going on ordinance process, and also due to the length of the project, we'll be requesting that you waive the second and third readings.
So if I'm reading this right, we'd be setting this, and then the public hearing first reading was proposed for 9/9.
Yeah.
And then we would be waiving. second reading.
That's our request.
Okay. Alright. I don't have an issue with that. Steve, do you have any thoughts?
No, I'm fine with it.
Good, alright. Entertain a motion for resolution 2025-84.
I make a motion when we approve resolution 2025-84.
Support.
John.
Aye.
McCombs.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jake. Item number 7 is letter of understanding with the Austin Peters Group. Lisa.
Good morning. Before you is the letter of understanding from Beth with the Austin Peters Group to get us rolling on the compensation and job classification study project that we set forth to do this year. So you have the letter of understanding. I did hear from Jared Harmon yesterday. He did not have any concerns with it. So once, I just wanted to say a couple things here. You'll sign the letter of understanding. We'll send the first deposit in today, and then everybody hang on, because we are working hard, and it's a very tight time frame. So but first of all, I did want to say thank you to the task force for all their hard work that they did to reach out to find this group. I've talked with Beth quite a few times already, and she is going to be a great fit for Marion County. She's very knowledgeable. This isn't her first rodeo, so thank you to the task force. I know that was a huge task, but their due diligence did us well. Thank you to the board for trusting me in doing this project with her. I'm so excited and look forward to it. I've got to dig into some of her questionnaires, and it's just, this is right up my alley, so I like it. So, like I said, we are hitting the ground running. Today, we will be, once the ink is dry, we are already moving forward. There will be a lot of information coming out, specifically today. There's already times for employee Zoom meetings that are already set in place, that will go out today. If your employees can't make one of those times, we will have handouts for them to kind of give out the, just let them know what we talked about. But she wants to get in front of the employees having a Zoom, let them know what the project entails. So please know that, I am going to be the gatekeeper of Beth's, timeline. So I am available. If I know it's very tight and I know it's a long weekend this weekend. But we have a very tight turnaround for her to get all this information done so we can get the study back to the board, on a timely manner. So, please know that when I nudge you and encourage you to get your paperwork in on time, it's for the good of all of us. I know you may have to work extra hours, you may have to work into the evening, some of the department heads. If you have questions, I'm always available. Please text, email, call me. I'm available because I know this isn't going to be a timeline for everybody that's going to work 100% for their time schedule. So, but her and I have gone through this, and I'm confident that we can meet her deadline. So hang on, because here we come. I mean, it's gonna start today. So Renee's already back there working on a lot of information. I'm just so excited to get this going and decide to take this journey.
Thank you, Lisa. I also want to say thank you to the task force. I also thank you, Lisa, for, taking now the baton has been passed on.
Yeah.
I want to say though, to the employees, department heads, you do have a contact person within your department. So you have a task force person that, you need, if you have further questions about Austin Peters. But yeah, that is something I do think there needs to be continued communication. And if that person needs to help you maybe process something, or, talking with Lisa, that's why we did do a task force also. This is going to be a lot. And the timeline isn't gonna fit for everybody, but it's for the greater good. We all agreed that we needed this. And now I need everybody to be on board.
Correct.
Cause we're spending the money. This isn't something that's, cheap. It's gonna cost us some money, but I think it's gonna be very helpful in the long run.
And I will tell you that I've looked through the employee paperwork that's gonna go out today, and she's made it very easy to know, like just gonna pick out one, math skills. She maybe has like 9 levels of math skills. What do you need for your job? And it's pretty clear, and maybe not, but you're not gonna reinvent the wheel. She's made it very easy, and the questions that she's asking, I think are awesome. They're right on spot. So it shouldn't be too difficult. But if you're struggling, give me a call. We'll talk through it.
Appreciate that. Steve, do you have any questions about the letter of understanding? Lisa?
No, I have none of the letter of understanding.
Okay. Well, unless you have further questions, I'll entertain a motion regarding the letter of understanding with Austin Petersburg.
I make a motion to approve the letter of understanding with the Austin Peters Group.
I'll support.
Johnner.
Aye.
McCombs.
Aye.
Number 8, Board of Supervisor updates, Mr. McCombs.
I had heard a meeting Thursday. And I'd also just like to let everybody know that our current director of land will be retiring soon, and we are in the process of trying to hire a new.
Those aren't always easy to find.
No.
So, thank you, Steve. I want to do a reminder of the comprehensive plan. Those of you that may have received an email yesterday, it's not to everyone, there's just an email that went out. I'm just doing a little prompt. If you could at least respond back to Z, and that's in regarding to keep this moving. But if you don't have you don't feel that you have anything to add to the comprehensive plan, please let Z know that so that he can continue moving on. Otherwise, he's going to be sitting there waiting. But remember, this is a comprehensive plan. This is like you have a 5-year plan and what you're looking at, what you're trying to accomplish. Share that information with him. We would just really like to get it done if you remember, I think it was last fall, we approved this and we're on target. If we can get these last few done, to get it done this year, so I'd appreciate that. Salary study. Thank you. Just ask that everybody be supportive and this is a new concept, but just a reminder, so it's gonna be for the good, so. All right, that, entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Support.
Gomes,
Aye.
Donner.
Aye.